Hello Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here and welcome to the channel. And welcome to another episode of My Collecting Life, the weekly series where I get to chat with you, members of the toy collecting community, about your own personal collections, finding out what got you into collecting in the first place, and what gives you that toy collecting buzz. Okie dokie then. So the question on everybody's lips is, who is the guest on this week's episode? Ooh, well, why don't we all find out? Sit yourselves down, put your feet up and make yourselves comfortable, and let's take a look at some of his collection in a musical montage. Righty ho then. So there was a lot going on in that collection and I've had to write it down because there was that much. You got the wrestling figures, you got graded comics, Motu, Star Wars, DC and Marvel. Loving it all. Absolutely fantastic. And it's a pleasure to welcome to the channel for the first time, Joseph Michaels, the Adventurous Joe. Hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah, so far so good.
So far so good. Oh no. It's
well,
all good,
I cut my thumb earlier trying to prepare things for my boiled dinner on Monday. So it's like
you're preparing your dinner
that's
for
why
Monday
I say
already.
So far so good. I'm still alive.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But other than that, though, you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Awesome. So we're just having a little chit chat in the green room. You know roughly about the questions. And you know roughly about the series. Basically, I'm just a nosy git. I want to know the ins and outs of a duck's arsehole. That's what that boils down to. So yeah, so all good. It's all about you and your collection. Run time roughly about an hour. If we go over, it's all good. Who cares? All good. So when you're ready, sir, we're cracking with the first question.
Okay, let's go.
Absolutely. Right, let's crack on. What toy lines were you into as a kid, and what memories do you have of those toy lines?
Oh, I had first toy line I had was Star Wars.
Yep.
Just Star Wars at the time and stuff. And that was started actually the Easter after I was born, because I was born in 1977, December 15th, 1977. And that year was when Star Wars came out in the theaters.
Yeah.
Okay. The year after that, they started bringing out the action figures and all that kind of stuff. My mom and dad literally got it all for me, and I wasn't even ready to play with this stuff yet.
I was going to say,
and my dad's exact words was, how do you know he's going to want any of this stuff? How do you know he's going to want to play with any of this stuff? And my mom said, when he gets a little older, he'll be wanting them. Trust me. And sure enough, I was like, I got to have this one. Next time we go to the Ben Franklin, it was called Ben Franklin's Dime Store at the time. When we were living in when we were living in Ludington, Michigan, which is where I'm back home at now. Okay. And when we were every week, we would go down to that store because that's when they got all their shipments in of everything action figure wise and stuff. Okay. And we would get all the Star Wars figures they had there and stuff, like, they got this Gamorrean Guard. They got this one. They got this one. Awesome. We would get them all, and I would just sit there on the living room floor and play with those things for hours. And my sister at the time, she had her Barbie stuff. See, we had our separate areas in the living room. I had my area where I play, and hers was over here by the wall where she had her dream house and all that kind of stuff set up. And the minute, if I was like throwing one of my guys around or something and it landed over there, she'd take that sucker, hurl it back, and go, "No bad in my area." What bad? It was just a stormtrooper.
I think it's really incredible that your mum got you those figures when you were born and stuff like that. And so did she? I mean, did she know that it might have been like one of those things that would have been popular?
Oh,
I mean, that's incredible.
Oh yeah, she was in the doll business before I was even born. So she would go. She traveled all over the world and stuff to, and she would see these different things, like she saw the Godzilla toys and things like that. And she would see all these different things coming out overseas, and she would be like, "Oh, okay, one day my kids will probably love this kind of stuff." If it ever comes to America and stuff. And
so was your mom a collector then?
Oh yeah, she was a huge Barbie collector. She was a huge Barbie collector. She used to have one room that she would keep locked all the time and stuff, unless she had to go in there and work or something. And it was just considered her doll room. And she had Barbie dolls all over the room, up on shelves, everything in between it. And that room would always stay locked because she didn't want nobody going in there. And unless she was in there already, nobody's allowed in that room. Okay, so it was always locked up. If she had to get in there and work on something, because she did business with everybody. It didn't matter who they were and stuff like that. She would be working nonstop half the time, because when my real dad passed away, I was only 6 months old.
Oh, okay.
So when she met my stepdad, who was just, who had lost his previous wife beforehand and stuff, and they reconnected 8.5 years after my mom and my real dad, were no longer together and stuff. He didn't understand the whole concept of us wanting toys all the time. Okay, certain things. Because he was in the Navy. He knew his two kids he had. My older siblings, they didn't get this stuff all the time and everything. Like, my mom would go to the store and she'd say, "Okay, well, Joey had a bad day at school," or something like that. I went to Ben Franklin and I got him this bag full of G.I. Joe figures and stuff. Okay. She would surprise us with that kind of thing, because when I was younger, I got picked on a lot because I didn't have a dad. It was just how it was in my collecting purpose of life, is that before I started thinking all these things would be worth a lot of money later on down the road and stuff, I was just a kid trying to play with my toys and stuff and enjoy life,
Yeah.
But it was hard to enjoy life when you would go to a store and you're seeing other kids with their dads and you don't have one. Yeah. So it was like 8.5 years before my mom remarried, and my stepdad and I did not get along right off the bat. That was the thing when you're getting this new guy who's supposed to be your dad now and stuff. You do not get along right away.
So, yeah.
Now, I've seen some people get along with their step sibling or stepfather or mom in the first place, right away and stuff like that. But me, it was him and I just clashing over everything.
Wow.
So, pick up your toys. We don't need the living room's not a freaking play area.
Yeah. So after Star Wars, yeah, I guess you moved into other toy lines. Like, I mean, at the time it would have been, probably the 80s, wouldn't it? It would have been Transformers.
Then they had G.I. Joe. Then they had Transformers.
That's it.
All those kind of things. Yep. I got into it. And I got into all of it. I had at one point, before I started, when I got older and I didn't realize that these things were worth some money and stuff. Okay. Yeah. I had everything from Brave Star, Centurions, Ninja Turtles, Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man. You named it, I had it.
So with Star Wars, then obviously because you were born, you hadn't seen the film.
No,
I didn't actually. When you got those figures, you probably didn't have a clue what they were. You just liked them and played with them.
Oh yeah.
With the other toy line franchises like Motu, Transformers, it was the Sunday morning cartoons, wasn't it? So was it
Saturday morning for us
into the figures, or was it your mum that was like, oh look, these have come out, so I'll bring these back? So what was it come first, the figures or the cartoons?
The cartoons.
Yeah,
cartoons first, because we every Saturday morning for us, we would watch it. They would air them on Bozo the Clown Show, and it was every early Saturday morning, right around 6 a.m. And he would show everything on there from G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Silverhawks was one of them.
Yep.
And every Saturday morning, I would be up early morning, sitting there watching the cartoons and stuff. And Christmas of the one year the Transformers cartoon came out, my parents surprised me with all of the Transformers that had been out for that time. So that was my Christmas gift that year. So, and it didn't help when you got grandparents, a grandmother, and you had also great grandparents and so on and so forth that all knew you're into these kind of things, and they still buy it themselves too. And
did they ever double up? Did they ever double up? Did you get the same
there was times. There was times they would buy the same thing and not realize they bought the same thing.
Wow, man.
So just like I had 6 X-Wings one Christmas, and I didn't.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It was because
nothing wrong with that.
They didn't know I already had it. So I was like,
did you keep them all though?
Oh yeah. I had Luke Sky. I had went to the dime store because they still had the Luke Skywalker figure in the X-Wing pilot uniform.
Yeah,
which didn't even look like Luke Skywalker. Okay, so I could literally make these guys into freaking pilots for these X-Wings. And then when they started, when they phased out that toy line and they started to bring them back in the 90s, and they decided in 95, just before Lucas did the special editions for the original trilogy, which apparently a lot of people still hate, and everything in between it. Okay, they started bringing these guys back in 1995, and I'm sitting there going, they're bringing back Star Wars. They're bringing back this. And I literally we had KB Toy Store. We had Toys R Us. I would go to both of these places in Florida, because that's where we were living at the time and stuff, and buy all of it. Just buy all of it. They had the Millennium Falcon. Got it. Get the TIE Fighter. Got it.
They got the disappointed with the Power of the Force too.
Yeah.
You was disappointed with it.
I was a little disappointed in some of it. When they released the figures, they were releasing characters at certain point in random. Like when they started, when episode 1 did the whole their figure line and stuff like that. Okay, they had at the time these flashback series.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, why do I want another Obi-Wan? I already got the old Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Why do I want this one? Why do I want this one? Oh, it's because Luke comes with his poncho and he comes with the hat and stuff. Now, and I was like, and they got those little context things. The R2D2 one was the hardest one to find the time when they had that flashback thing going on and stuff. The R2D2 one was the hardest one to find because it literally got packed like 1 or 2 per case.
No.
And it was gone within minutes because people would just snap it right up. But you would find it on eBay selling for way overpriced.
Well, nothing's changed, is it, Joe? I mean, it's still still the same these days, isn't it?
It's like it's still the same. It don't matter if it's the Black Series. It don't matter if it's Vintage Collection. Hell, I saw the Retro Collection on there the other day, the newest one for the Book of Boba Fett. And somebody's asking $200 for the whole damn set. Well,
listen, if he gets $200 for it, good luck to the man. I mean,
buddy.
He's asking that price. You don't have to pay it, do you? Do you know what I mean? And what the hell?
Anyhow, it's ridiculous.
It is.
Some places I can understand they'll do that kind of thing because they probably got a business that they're running and stuff, and they picked up a case of these or whatever, and they decided, okay, I'm going to sell this whole set for this price and everything in between it. But when you got a guy that says, if these don't sell on here for my price, I'll take them back to the store. I was like, then why didn't you just leave them at the damn store?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's the same way on any Star Wars place on Facebook. You'll go there and they're supposed to have rules on certain pages, like Star Wars buying, selling, and trading. Okay. They're supposed to have a rule on there for no scalping, but they got people on there scalping all the freaking time.
No, I don't really go into any of those. And
it's kind of ridiculous.
But yeah, it is. What was your favorite toy line, and why?
Favorite toy line for me would have to be it's Star Wars mainly, but if you went past Star Wars, for me it was mostly Transformers. Because I liked how they could turn into robots and turn into vehicles or guns or everything in between it. For me as a kid, that was the most exciting thing ever. Especially when I got Shockwave and I was just going around.
He was great when his Shockwave was great. You had the cassette bit that opened up. You had the little cassettes that come out and Ravage Rumble and
then they had Soundwave. Yeah, Soundwave's the one with the cassettes.
That's it. He was
Shockwave's the one-eyed one that was always stuck on Cybertron.
yeah. But I mean, I loved the cartoon. I loved the Transformers cartoon.
Oh yeah.
The first 2 seasons I thought were really good, but then I think the artwork and the animation sort of went downhill, like season 3. Then they come out with the movie. I know that upset a lot of people at the time because of what happened early doors and stuff like that.
Because season three kind of got where it was literally on track at the beginning. But then as it started going through, you're seeing Transformers in fighting. And I'm like, isn't that guy supposed to be dead? I'm like, what the hell? They got these characters fighting alongside them and stuff. And all of a sudden you're like, that one was killed in the Transformers movie. How the hell is he alive?
Oh, hang on. So the Transformers movie come in after season 2? So was it season 1, season 2, then the Transformers movie?
Transformers the movie, yeah. But in Japan, over in Japan, they had an original story they did that was supposed to be a 2-part storyline that would introduce Metroplex and Trypticon.
Yeah.
And they did that as a go-between season 2 and the movie. And we never got that here in the US because it was basically, to them, a big freaking toy commercial.
Wow.
Because they had plans for after Transformers the movie to bring out Trypticon. And Trypticon was being shown to be brought out before that.
Yeah.
And they were just like Hasbro. Well, at the time, it was still Kenner. It wasn't Hasbro. But they decided they didn't want that. They said, no, we can't have that one in the car. Just like when Japan did their version of Rebirth, it was Headmasters. It was a whole Headmaster series.
Yeah.
In the case of us, we did a 3-parter called Rebirth, and everybody's just like, why? Why'd you do that one? It just made no sense that all of a sudden the golden age of Cybertron returned because of a stupid energy burst. I mean, I was just like, it made no sense because here, when you did the Return of Optimus Prime, they did that twice in the freaking season 3. The first time was because the Quintessons brought him back, and it was just so to fit their evil purpose and stuff. So he was like a zombie Prime and stuff. But then they're forced to bring him back again so he could stop this whole freaking Red Menace crap going on. And I was just like,
I didn't know any of this because I saw seasons 1 and 2, then I saw the movie, and then I think that was it. I didn't know any about this Transformers Rebirth. I was aware of Beast Wars, but it was something that I wasn't really into as a kid.
Yeah, Beast Wars was actually good. Beast Wars was good. Machine, the Machine one was not so much. The Beast Wars, Beast Machines, that one just was terrible. They returned to Cybertron to find out Megatron managed to take over everything. He turned their own friends into freaking these other, robots that are freaking under his control and stuff. It's like,
wow.
Ugh.
So when did you stop playing with your toys, and when did you become a collector? Now I know you've answered this question in the chat before, but people are going to hear this. Go on.
Okay. I never stop playing with my toys. Every time I'm working with my stuff, when I'm doing reviews or something like that, I am sitting there playing with my toys. I'm having fun doing these things. When I'm putting them together like I did for all my Masterverse behind me here and stuff, putting all their accessories on them and stuff, and then put them in the cupboard and everything, I'm literally playing with my toys still. So I was having fun, especially when I'm doing my reviews. If I want to, show the character kicking someone in the face or something like that, I'm like, I'm still playing with my toys. So you basically, some people have criticized me for this stuff.
You've always been a collector.
When did I become a collector? Oh,
no. Have you always been a collector? Because like you said,
when I got older,
stuff before you even
when I got older, I started getting to where, we were still living in Florida at the time. I literally started getting into the collecting of this figure. This exclusive figure is exclusive. Okay, then I'm keeping that in the package. If it's one that I could just buy right at the store, okay, and I've never had that figure before, okay, then I'll buy the 2 of them. I'll buy one to take out to play with or do whatever, and the other one stays on the card and goes up for. I used to have a whole wall full of freaking Star Wars figures when we were living in Florida.
Yeah.
And it was all just stuff that I kept in the box and stuff. Just like now, Black Series over in that cupboard there, like I showed you in those pictures and stuff.
Yep.
That's my mainstay right there. I keep all my Black Series in the package.
Okay.
I literally am keeping them all in the package. When it comes to the retro collection, I will buy 2 of each. I will buy 2 figures and 2 of each figure and stuff. One to remove, one to keep on the card, because there's times I still want my vintage collection figures out there, and the retro collection is perfect for that. And that's why I'm kind of glad they brought them back.
Yeah.
For someone that don't want to spend lots of money to get those figures. Yeah. The original figures. Me, I like the retro collection because they've brought them back in the vintage style. You get to display them and do everything that you want to do with them and stuff. But at the same time, it's also reliving my childhood. Okay. Because I'm getting those on the retro card and everything, and it's neat looking. Now, in the case of the Black Series, that cupboard is so jam full, I have no place for the rest. I still got another box full of Black Series figures I haven't put in there yet, and I'm like, there's nowhere to put them. And everyone says, why don't you just take them out of the box? Because I'm an in-box collector. I'm keeping those in box.
So your mum must have been a big influence on you then when it comes to the toys and stuff like that. Now, with her collection, did she keep that in box, or was she? Did she?
Oh,
take hers out the box?
yeah, she was an inbox collector,
Yeah.
especially when it came to the vintage Barbies that she had. She a lot of times she would go to, like I said, she was in the doll business, so she would travel to different places, go to different doll shows and all that kind of stuff, and she would find dolls from her childhood.
Yeah.
And she would literally, if they're brand new in the box, she'll make a great offer on them and stuff. And then she would literally bring it home and put it in a glass case.
Okay.
She would not let anyone touch those things, not even herself. Once she got it in hand and it's this brand new and everything, she puts it right in the glass case so nobody could touch it. And
awesome. I mean,
yeah,
as a kid, with seeing your mum like that, how did that make you feel?
I asked her. I said if my sister can play with her dolls and stuff, why doesn't my mom play with hers? And she says because they're worth money. She says that's the kind of thing that'll be your college fund one day. Well, big jokes on her. I never went to college.
So. Oh well, yeah. Wow.
It's mostly stemming from the fact of I was born with certain medical defects. So those medical defects played a big part in my life. And that's part of the reason why she was in the doll business to begin with and stuff, is because we always had to pay for medical bills and all that kind of stuff. Things that I had to go through, like different operations and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's basically something that will stick with you for the rest of your life. But at the same time, it was something my mom didn't see as, I'm not giving up on my child. I don't care if he was born this way. I'm not giving up on my child. I'll do this and that, and she would literally, she got into the doll business to support that. But at the same time, she started getting into it where she started meeting people from all over the world, became friends with a lot of them and stuff. And she just got into it. She was literally into it. And even after I got older and I started doing my own collecting, where I would keep things brand new in the package and everything like that, she was still doing doll business here and there. Yeah. She would, if she had old dolls that she's trying to get rid of or something, she would contact people she knew. They would make her some kind of an offer on them. She'd send them out and all that kind of stuff that she would do. Cool. But she literally was the biggest influence for me. Yeah. And she even told me that just like when I started getting into writing, right after I got out of high school and stuff, I started getting into writing because I wanted to write my own stories. I was writing up my own scripts for my action figures and everything. And my mom says, well, why don't you start making a story? Okay. So I started writing stories out. And lo and behold, the first Star Wars one I actually wrote a whole new Star Wars story. I had some characters that were familiar, but my own created characters. Yeah. Well, I look back nowadays, like right now, how people complain about how Disney's destroyed Star Wars and everything else in between. Okay. Yeah. Lucasfilm wanted to buy my damn Star Wars story. But here's the problem. They didn't want my name on it. They literally told me they got big name authors like Timothy Zahn and so on and so forth. Okay. That they would want their name on that Star Wars story. And I said, well, would I get any kind of royalties from it and stuff? No. We're just interested in your story. We don't want your name on it. And you wouldn't get nothing more than what we pay you for it. Wow. And I literally passed on that. But I sit back and go, people complaining about the writing of Star Wars TV shows or something like that nowadays, I says, why don't you go back in time several years back and talk to me about that kind of thing and see how Lucasfilm treated me before it was even Disney owned. I says, then you could talk about how something's getting ruined and stuff. No, it was literally, I was shocked when they said they were going to buy my Star Wars story. They were interested in it. And I says, okay, And I says, what do I need to do on it and stuff? Well, we want you to send us a rough draft so we can see what it's like and everything and all that. Okay. And so I sent a small rough draft to them and everything. And I got a call back like 2 weeks later, and they says they're interested in buying my story. So I come out and I says, okay, what else do I need to do? I sent you the rough draft on it and stuff. Oh, well, here's the thing. We have big name authors that we support on and stuff like that. Okay, we want one of their names on your story. And I'm sitting back and going, what? I was like, it's my name on it and stuff. Why would you want not my name on it and stuff? I mean, I'm young at the time. I didn't know this stuff, how this stupid business crap works. And when they told me that my Star Wars story was this good and stuff, but not good enough to have my name on it.
Wow. Okay.
It literally, I broke. I literally was so upset. I almost tore the whole thing apart. I literally almost tore it all apart. But my mom and dad, my dad grabbed it out of my hands. He gave it to my mom, and he says that until he calms down, hang on to that.
Yeah.
Because I was literally this close to just ripping it all to pieces and throw it in the garbage.
So your love for writing then, is that through comics? Because I've seen you got quite a big comic collection.
Oh yeah. So times I would read through my comics and I would say, yeah, I could do an awesome story like this. And I was young at the time and I didn't know any better. So I literally would write up stories. Like I used to have all the DC superpowers heroes guys. Like Batman, Superman, and all them. Okay. Yeah. Long before McFarlane decided to bring them back. Okay. But I had all those figures and I would watch the cartoon. And a lot of times the cartoon didn't match with the figures I had and stuff. Like they had Apache Chief and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm sitting there going, I don't got that figure. I was like, who are these characters? And they would call it the Super Friends or something in between that. Oh, and okay, I was like, I could do better than this. And I would write up little stories or little scripts of sorts. And I would say, okay, Batman and Robin are going to get in the Batmobile, chase after Joker and Penguin. Then Brainiac shows up and starts attacking both of them. I could do better than this, I said. And it was a thing that got influenced heavily because of my mom. My mom, she was writing stories of her own in her spare time and everything. She wrote poetry when she was in high school. She did a lot of other things. And some of those things passed on to us kids. And for me, the story element of writing started passing on to me. And then it passed on to my sister because she was starting to write her own stories as well. Yeah. But at the same time, the writing part started influencing between my mom and my comic books. Because there was times in comics, I would say, as I got older and I started reading through my comics again and everything, I would sit there and I go, okay, this story kind of sucks. I could probably do a better story than this. Yeah. Like the whole, when they did that, I'm trying to think what the heck the name of it is. It was during the comic Civil War thing that took place for the first superhero Civil War.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay. And when they did that and Mary Jane and Peter had to give up their marriage in order to erase his identity and stuff, I was just like, after it came out, it was like him and Mary Jane never got married. You know, there's no memory of this or that, but the Civil War aspect was still there. Superheroes were still declared, you know, if you didn't work for the government, then you're declared an enemy of the government and stuff. And that aspect was still there. And it was called Brand New Day after that. And I was like, there's nothing brand new about this. I says, it sucks. And I even wrote a letter to Marvel at the time and told them, they got to do better for Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like a big hero to mine. Between Batman being a hero of mine, Spider-Man was a hero of mine. And I told Marvel they got to do better for him. And I got a response back that said, we got big things on the horizon for him. Just keep reading. And I was like, okay. So I kept reading and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm getting sick and tired of how this is all turning out. For a time, I almost was ready to quit Spider-Man comics. Wow. But then it started bringing in a different element. Like it started bringing in the whole maximum. When after they had the Clone Saga, they had another Clone Saga, the Clone Conspiracy. Okay. And I was like, okay, this story is starting to sound a little good. But then they ruined it by the fact that Ben Reilly's a freaking bad guy. My favorite character, Scarlet Spider, has been turned into a bad guy. And here he's supposed to have been dead. And now he's back. And he brought back all these villains that died over the past and stuff. Or people that died in Peter's lifetime. And I was just like, oh, God, this is terrible. This is
what got you into
terrible.
Comics then? What got you into comics?
My uncle.
Okay.
My uncle's oldest son, Billy, he and I would hang out all the time whenever my parents were out on a date or something, just having a date night or something. We would get babysitted by my older cousins. Okay. So my older cousin, Billy, he would bring over this box of comics. And it had Spider-Man, Green Lantern, all those kind of comics in there. And he told me, pick out what you want. Pick out what you want out of there and stuff. You can keep it. And I says, okay. So I started grabbing this one and this one, and I would sit there on the living room floor and literally reading these comics. And I was enjoying them. And he told me certain ones it might be too adult for me at the time. So I would pick there was one that was, it was Batman. It was Batman related, but he said there was some adult themes in it. So here I'm only about 6 or 7 years old at the time. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't care what that means. But he says, no, you can't have that one. He says that one's a little too adult. Because apparently it was it had something to do with Catwoman undressing or something in it, and those kind of things. Yeah. As I got older, I didn't give a damn about that crap no more. I was like, it's in a comic book, it's gonna be there. I don't care, And I enjoyed comic books. It's what influenced me to start getting more and more comics, and different types. I found out there were different types out there. We would go to flea markets all the time when we had them here in Ludington. And there were flea markets out at the fairgrounds all the time. We would have every weekend, we'd go out there. There was this one guy that had nothing but comic books. He'd have stacks of them. And none of them that were bagged and boarded at the time. They were just literally comic books he had taken out of the box, thrown on a table. And I would sit there and go through them all. And I would say, I want this one. I want this one. I want this one. And put them aside. And I started my own little pile. And at one point, I had a pile about yay high. And my mom's like, wow, there's no way in hell you're getting all of them. There's no way in hell you're getting all of those. And she would split it with my grandmother. Yeah. My grandmother was like, if he wants them, I'll get them, And she's like, Mom, I'm trying to tell you, he can't have them all. He can't always have all this stuff. And she says, well, it's your fault. You got him into all these things. Awesome. So that was the split on that one. Grandma says yay, Mom says no, and but it still happened.
Wow, that is awesome. What at the moment, what are you currently collecting? Is there anything in particular? Is there a focus that you're collecting on? Is it one toy line above the other, or would you just sort of like collect everything?
Right now, it's mostly focused on just Star Wars and He-Man. Yeah, because I had G.I. Joe Classified, But they kept coming out with this one and then this one, and there was ones I missed right from the beginning that are so hard to get a hold of now and stuff that I literally just gave up on it. I literally gave up all my classified series figures and just got rid of them and stuff. Wow. And I said that I had the exclusive Serpentor and Mindbender. They were going to be coming in. I just went over and I canceled them. I said that I'm done with that stuff. There's too much to collect. No sense in keeping it going. No sense in grabbing the exclusive.
When you say there's too much to collect, then and you miss some, would you call yourself a completist then?
Oh yeah. If I can't get it, if I can't get them all, then it's no point in grabbing it. Because like in the case of Star Wars The Black Series, there's some figures that I passed on, and now I wish I didn't pass on them. But at the same time, I go back and I say, I want this certain line, but I don't want this certain line. And I was like, but I like the characters from that certain line. Okay, and it's a thing of pick your battles kind of deal. And when it comes to toy collecting, is that you want this, but you got to make sure you can afford it. Like I used to have FOMO big time. I used to have it big time. I had the fear of missing out. If I can't get it right away, then I miss out on it, and I can't get it later. It's too expensive.
You're talking about FOMO. I think that's got a lot to do with the toy companies, because I think at the time it was around COVID and stuff like that. Everything went on pre-order, didn't it, and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it was like, well, you've got a limited amount of time to get these, otherwise they're gonna, you're not gonna get to see them again.
Yeah.
My fear was if I didn't get it, then I'd end up paying extra on the secondary market, because around that time, you looked on eBay and things were going for silly money, absolute silly money.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not paying that when you can get it in store or you can get it at pre-order. So I thought I pre-ordered everything at that time. And then like a few months later, you'd see that figure again. You've got it, and it comes through, and then you see it for cheaper, and you think, oh, for God's sake. And so I think the companies did that on purpose.
Yeah,
personally, that's how I feel.
Yeah, well, that you're not the only one. I'm the same way. I just was like, they did this knowing full well that there's a crisis going on and stuff. Okay, when COVID was going on and stuff, everybody's in lockdown. How the hell are you going to do toy distribution on stuff? Okay, they did their certain share of misdeeds and this here and there, but at the same time, they were just like screwing over the toy customers over and over again by saying this is going to go for pre-order. This exclusive will be for pre-order, but you better get it while you can, and so on and so forth. Now, in the case of, like I was talking about, I love the retro collection. All right? Yeah. But I missed out. I literally passed. Well, I didn't pass on it. It's because I couldn't afford it. And it's because they had the Obi-Wan set come out, which is that had C-3PO, R2-D2, the Jawa.
Yeah.
That set came out. I waited for the longest time for that set, and now it's gone. It's literally gone. The only way you can get it now is on the secondary market through eBay, and people are asking an enormous amount of money for those things. And same thing with the Return of the Jedi set.
Yeah.
I had two of those ordered. I had two of them ordered, pre-ordered and stuff. But at the time, my before she passed away and stuff, my cat Bright Eyes, my oldest cat Bright Eyes, she needed to go to the vet, and it was going to cost around $400.
Yeah.
And here I got money, and I'm doing my job and everything in between it. But at the same time, I had to make a choice, which is more important, the life of her or these toys. And I gave up the set. But they were sitting there in Hasbro for the longest time, still in stock and everything. And I was like, okay, I could go over and grab them later and stuff. Nope. Gone now. And even on the secondary market, you can't barely get the whole set because they'll take Yak Face and Mon Mothma out of it, but they don't care about the rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just it's a thing of FOMO sometimes can be a very bad thing, because there's times you will literally have it where you want it so bad that you're afraid you'll miss out on it and stuff. Just like my Walmart store gets those gold label McFarlane figures. All right.
Yeah.
$24.99 a piece. All right. We had them sitting at our Walmart store for 3 months. They had the Vampire Green Lantern come in. They had the freaking damn it, I just did my review on those two. The Green Lantern, Black Lightning.
Okay.
$24.99 each. Went to my Walmart store day after New Year's. They were on clearance for $6 each.
Oh,
and I was like $6 each, and I never got them at the $24.99 price because I didn't have that fear of missing out. I was like, if they're still here later, I'll get them later. And then found them in the clearance aisle for $6 each. I'm taking them.
Yeah,
$6 each is a better deal than $24.99. But at the same time, the problem is a lot of stores will do these gold label figures. And they'll have that, people will have that fear of missing out. They'll grab them right away. Yeah. But then they'll find out they got clearanced and they're at a lower price than what they paid. And then they'll try to return the damn thing. And the store is only going to give them back whatever it's on clearance for. You're not going to get your whole money back.
Wow.
JB's Toy Trunk went through the same thing. He said about returning a certain thing. And, he returned it. But it's because he found it on clearance. Okay. But they only gave him the clearance price. They didn't give him back his full amount.
Wow.
And he said that's kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, that's just how it goes in the business of toys and stuff. Especially when you're a collector. And like when they did this plastic-free packaging at Hasbro, I literally stopped collecting for a while. Especially in the case of Star Wars. Because when it comes to Star Wars, the Black Series, I like to see my figures. I don't want to see a freaking photo of the figure on the packaging and stuff. I want to see my figures. And so I waited for these to go on clearance places. There was places they would go on clearance because they can't sell them. Nobody wants them. And a lot of times when they did start that plastic-free packaging crap, it ruined Hasbro. It literally ruined Hasbro. People were happy to buy a Hasbro product because they could see what they were getting.
Yeah.
Okay, when they started plastic-free packaging, they went from all sorts of problems. They went from people stealing from the packaging, packing something else in the packaging, misguided factory things going on where the same figure, the figure that didn't match the packaging went in the packaging. I mean, that happened with Tidarium Hanger there. He literally had the Dungeon and Dragon figures, the animated versions and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were in those plastic-free boxes. Okay. He got it, and it was the same figure that he already had, but it was packed in someone else's box.
Wow.
And I says, that is the damnedest thing they could have ever done. I know they wanted to do this whole we're for the environment thing and stuff, but you could have done much differently. You could have still had.
You say that they want to use less plastic. I mean, the original Kenner Star Wars figures and the G.I. Joe figures, they just come in a bubble, didn't they?
Yep.
And had the weapon, and it was either like sellotape to the side of the bubble.
Yep.
But now you've got the bubble, then you've got the plastic tray, then you've got another plastic tray with accessories.
Yep.
Get
they
rid
use
of that.
too much.
You don't need all that plastic.
Just like in the case of the Black Series figures, the Marvel Legends figures and stuff. I've seen how they did the G.I. Joe figures with the plastic-free packaging and stuff. Okay. Yeah. They just threw it in a baggie, threw it into another little cardboard thing inside, and then put it in the box. I says, they could have still had plastic package. They could have still had their window packaging, just one thing of plastic, and strap the freaking figure down inside the box.
Yeah,
just strap it down. You don't need that heavy duty bubbling to it and stuff because nobody cares about that stuff. They're gonna throw it out anyway.
Do you have a sentimental piece or a prized piece in your collection?
Yes, I do. Awesome. It's my King Atlas Transformer character.
Okay.
He's the only actual Transformer I kept after I got out of Transformers. Because he came out during the whole Transformers universe line they had.
Yeah.
And he was actually a repaint from Machine Wars' Starscream. But they renamed him King Atlas and stuff. And he became my main character in my Transformers stories I wrote. Because I would turn into that character.
Yeah.
I had a thing where like I took my transforming into that character thing from Master Force that they did over in Japan and stuff. That's when they were their idea of instead of Nebulans and stuff, they did the whole people dress up in the armor and then can turn into the Transformer and stuff.
Yeah.
And I took my cue from that and wrote a whole story involving my friends and I all turning into Autobots, and stuff.
Wow.
And it was so. My mom and dad said it was the coolest thing I ever wrote, and I was like, "Wait, did Dad just say that?" Because he even was enjoying it. He thought it was neat. He says that is actually neat. He says that you could turn into your own Transformer. I was like, "Yeah,
wow.
That's what I did." Wow. And so when I got out of Transformers, I didn't really get out of Transformers. I just was like, I can't collect everything. I can't keep them and stuff because when we moved back to Michigan and we were living in the house we're living in right now and stuff, which is now my house.
Okay.
Cool. It was my grandmother's house. And my room's upstairs and I literally had limited space.
Yeah.
I mean, this was my uncle's old bedroom and stuff. So it became my room and I'm like, where am I going to put all my certain things and stuff? And I was like, okay, there's no room for the Transformers anymore and stuff. So I picked out what I wanted from the Transformers and I said, King Atlas is staying. The rest can go. But I kind of regret that one because I wish I still had my Optimus Prime.
That does surprise me you got rid of your Transformers. I know you had like short of space, but that, going back to what you were saying earlier in the conversation, you were saying about that Transformers were your probably your favorite toy line as a kid.
Oh yeah.
That does surprise me that I've just realized I've not noticed in your collection that you've got any Transformers at all within your collection.
I got some of the core class figures. I don't got any big Transformers. I used to have the bigger Transformers, but there was just no place to put anything. Yeah. And so I just decided, no, I'm just going to do away with these and stuff. And, I might get them back one day if I decide to go back that route and stuff. But I got some of the core class ones and they just sit up on a table in my room. And the core class ones I kind of like because they're smaller and they don't take up much space. So even if I wanted to put them on a shelf, they're fine that way and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's times I wish I had my old Transformers still because
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
They're re-releasing them now. They're bringing them back. It's freaking cartoon styled. And I was like, I don't know why they're doing that because it diminishes the value of the actual vintage Transformer. Because you're bringing back a vintage Transformer in the style of a cartoon.
Yeah. And
I was like, now in the case of like Super 7 there, their Ultimates, they're neat looking, but they're out of my price range. Yeah. Like that, I have a budget I stick to every month, every payday, and because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. Anything in life can happen. Yeah, just like I had to put money aside, like I said, for my cat.
Yeah.
Before she passed away and everything, and there was things that you sit back and go, yes, I want this thing, but is it in my budget? And just like my latest cooking video I just did, I showed people how to make this dinner if you're on a budget. Literally showed them the prices of how much this certain thing cost, how much this cost, and so on and so forth. And I says, and if you're on a budget, this is how you do things. Now, in the case of toy buying and stuff, it's a different story because you got prices like $24.99, $54.99, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, you gotta know what's in your wheelhouse if you want this certain thing. Okay, like in the case of the Masterverse, a lot of these guys, I waited until they went on clearance.
Yeah.
And some of the ones that I just got done reviewing not too long ago, and they're in the case now and stuff. Okay, a friend of mine found them at Ross for $6 each, and I was just like, "Get them! I'll pay you for all of them."
That's just crazy.
And it's one of those things where you'll sit back and go, "You missed out on it, but you didn't really miss out on it because if you go over to Big Bad Toy Store, some of them figures that he got for $6 each at Ross, they're freaking still on Big Bad Toy Store, $23.99 a piece."
Wow.
And
crazy,
I'm like, okay, I was worried I would miss out on those figures and stuff, and they're still sitting there. And I was like, okay, so I didn't spend $23.99.
Yeah.
Because my friend found the 2 different waves of figures for freaking $6 a figure. I was like, jackpot for me.
Straight in there.
Yeah.
Do you have a grail piece? And when I say grail piece, it doesn't have to be the most expensive thing in the world. It could be something that you went and saw at a toy store or something like that, and you thought, I'll come back and get that. And when you went back, it had gone and you've not seen it for months. So is it anything like that at all that you would mind in your collection?
My grail piece would have to be what the heck? I know I still got it somewhere around here. Damn it, I keep forgetting what the hell it was again. Because I had one that I said I want to keep this sucker because it was part of my childhood. Okay. And I had found it on eBay, and the guy was only asking like $35 for it. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta get this. And I got it, and I decided I'm gonna keep it boxed up and stuff because I don't want nothing to happen to it. Yeah. And it was what the heck was it again? It was my G.I. Joe vintage, but I can't remember the name of the vehicle. God dang it.
Is it a Joe vehicle, Cobra vehicle?
It's a G.I. Joe vehicle. It's a Joe vehicle. Let's put it that way. What the heck was it again? The Vamp. It's not the Vamp. The one that the Joes used and stuff.
AWE Striker?
Yeah, that's it. The Striker.
Okay. Wow.
God dang it. I knew it was somewhere in there. I was like, I gotta look at your G.I. Joe things back there. I think you got it.
Yeah, I have. I've got mine boxed, but it's the retro version. I've not got the original version.
Ah, okay.
I've got the retro version.
Yeah,
so.
the guy. I even asked the guy when I saw the price on it and stuff. I asked him, "Is this the vintage one or is it the retro style one that they brought back out and everything?" He says, "Oh no! I had this from my collection as a kid and stuff." And he says that this is the stuff I'm selling off and everything. I was like, okay. And I looked at the year on it and stuff, and it said 1980 something. I was like, this is the vintage one. And it had to get some parts replaced on it and stuff, but it's still one of my grail pieces I love so much because I said, I'm going to keep it boxed for now. Keep it in the box I got it from for now until I find a place around here to display it. Because the problem is when you have cats, especially when I got 2 that climb over everything. I mean, I literally had my cupboard door open here, and I was literally trying to put the figures in. And the kitten, she would climb in there and curl up the shelf. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Get out of there. I'm like, this is my shelf. Get out of there.
Enjoy the kittens. Awesome.
Oh, God.
It's coming to the top of the hour. I've got 3 questions left for you. So,
all right.
What got you into doing a YouTube channel, and did you have any influences?
When I started YouTube, it was back. We were living in Milton, Florida at the time. This was before we came back home to Michigan, and it was before my grandmother started having the early symptoms of dementia. And she literally was having trouble with memory and stuff, and my uncle came down with her to Florida because he was worried about her traveling by herself because my Aunt Ida couldn't go with her, which was her sister. And she started saying things that, or forgetting things one minute and then saying something the next. And she was starting to show those signs. And my mom said, "We're going home." I says, great, because I hate Florida at this point. I'm literally where I want to say goodbye to Florida. I'm tired of Florida. And we went home. We came back home. We started packing back in March of 2009. And it took a while to get everything done because we had doctors that we had to transfer, hospital records, all that kind of stuff, transferring things back to Michigan and to our doctor here or something in between it. And then my mom had to work out things on my grandmother's bills and everything, like how would she cover these certain things and so on and so forth. And by time that was all done and we were finally all packed up, it was already May. So we came home. The day we came home, it took about 3 days before we got back to Michigan. And because we drove all the way back up here, no flying, just drove all the way up here because we had our U-Haul, which is the moving van and stuff. Then we had the motorhome that we were all staying in and everything while driving up here and stuff. And when we got back here, my grandmother's memory started getting worse. And that's when I decided I'm going to hold off on bringing back my YouTube channel. It was like a year before I started my YouTube channel again because I started my YouTube channel and I was just doing little things like I would make a little music video, or I made my own reviews of something, and people would complain about how your lighting sucks in that room. You need better lighting and stuff like that. And I was like, it's what it is. It's what it is. I didn't know these things. And then I met my best friend, Tara Babcock. Now, she had been doing YouTube longer than I had. Okay. And she literally started teaching me the ropes of everything. She says that this is how you do this. She says, first things first, go back to your YouTube channel. And she says, make an intro video and tell people about what you plan to do on your channel. Okay, so I went and did that. And then I started doing things like calling myself the Adventurous Joe. And started doing things like I'm adventuring into this comic review today and so on and so forth. Okay, I would review everything from toys, video games, comic books, and so on. And there were times Tara and I would work together on things, and we decided, okay, we'll start this thing called the Adventurous Joe Show, and it'll feature both our channels. And things got up there to where we decided we're going to help out another friend of ours, Joe Vargas, otherwise known as Angry Joe to everybody. Okay. And we started showing some of his stuff on the show, and people started, instead of saying like, oh, wow, that's so nice of you to be doing this, helping his channel get recognized more and stuff. No, it was like, you're stealing his content.
Oh my God.
You're stealing his content. What the hell's wrong with you people? And I'm like, oh God. And Tara says, oh, don't worry about it. You're going to see that a lot.
Wow.
And by time he hit 1 million subscribers to his channel, and he literally just like, there was no thank you for, supporting his channel or anything else in between. It was just like, well, I got 1 million subscribers. I don't need you no more. Bye.
Really?
He was just gone just like that. So we cut his content out of YouTube, out of the Adventurous Joe Show. And just my channel was Tara and I. But then something took place, and we just parted ways for a while and stuff. And my videos just were all me again and stuff. So the Adventurous Joe Show was just Joe doing reviews on everything in between, from comic books and so on. Okay, I even tried to get a sponsorship with Nerd Block at the time, and they turned me down because I'm not a big name YouTuber. I'm not a big namer. I don't make enough views on videos and so on and so forth. I was like, well, I like your product, and I'd like to, be able to have you sponsor it and stuff, where you'll send me the box, and I'll review it and everything. No, we're not interested.
Wow.
So it was kind of heartbreaking at the time, but I said, screw them. I said, screw them. I'm going to continue my YouTube the way I do it and stuff. Well, the problem is with YouTube, like a lot of big namers these days, they're suddenly deciding to quit. And because they're getting overwhelmed, they can't do it anymore like they used to do and stuff. That started happening to me because in right around 2015, 2016, it started getting to where Joseph Michaels, the Adventurous Joe, went from being happy and excited to toxic as hell. Literally toxic as hell. I literally started, especially when it came to the politics stuff going on. I just literally started videos where, I would say this and that, screw these people, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, sitting back. I sit back now and I look at those videos and I was like, God, I wish I could just erase this shit from memory. I literally wish I could erase it all from memory. But the problem was, at the time, I didn't even realize it. The toxicity got to the point that it was mentally and physically messing with me.
Yeah.
Because I started, because in 2017, I started getting very sick. I literally started getting very sick. I got to the point where my energy was losing itself. I had no momentum to want to do videos. I just didn't feel like doing anything. And there was the point where it started getting worse in 2017 is July of that year. My dad, we hold, you can hold yard sales here up to a certain point in time and stuff. Okay. We just finished our biggest yard sale. I was helping my dad put everything away and stuff. Picked up this table. I used to be able to hold this sucker straight over my head. It's the heaviest table we had. And I couldn't lift it.
Wow.
I could not lift it. I had no energy, no strength. And my dad had to help me carry it back. And he says, any other time I see you wanting to literally lift this thing over your head, he says, what's wrong? I says, I don't know. I really don't know. And so I got to the point where I was getting sick. If I got sick, it would usually last about 2 or 3 days. Okay.
Yeah.
I got sick this time while I was in that weakened state. It literally drained me. It took almost a week before I was back on my feet again and stuff.
Wow.
And I would go I finally went to the hospital because at one point I had 110 fever. I didn't have a choice in the matter. I had 110 fever. I had no strength. I didn't want to get out of bed and do anything. And my mom says, you're going to the hospital. She said, I don't care what you say. You're going to the hospital. And that's when they said, while I was there, that there's a complication with my heart.
Oh,
and I says, what kind of complication? And they says, there's 2 sections that aren't beating. She says, when you have the doctor there said, when your heart's beating, all of it's supposed to be beating. If there's 2 points of it not beating, you're losing blood flow, and that's causing you to get sicker and everything in between it. Okay, so I had to see specialists and all that kind of stuff after that. And right then and there, I was talking to my best friend, Tara, and I told her what happened with me and everything. And she says, honey, you need to take it easy and call it quits on YouTube. Just call it quits on YouTube. Give it up for a while until you're feeling better. And I says, yeah, I may have to. So in 2019, December of 2019, I called it quits. And I literally was off YouTube for 4 years.
Wow.
And I literally was trying to get my body and mind back together. My health was still deteriorating, and I couldn't understand what's going on. And at one point, the doctor said that if this keeps up, you're not going to make it to see another year. He says, you've got to get yourself up and running. Do things. Do more. He says, even if you're the most tired in the world, you need to do more. So I was like, okay. So I was trying to do more. I had to help my mom. She was handicapped at the time. And so it was, everything changed in 2022.
Yeah.
Or 2021, excuse me. April 24th that year, my mom passed away.
And
yeah, and it was a hard time for me because I felt like I lost everything because my mom was my rock. She was my rock.
Yeah.
She was my influence for everything. She was the person that believed, even when I didn't believe, that I could do something. She believed it. Okay. When she was gone, things started to where my dad and I were starting to get at each other's throats again and stuff. And we decided that year, my older sister decided, by the way, we need to come down to Georgia for Christmas. She said, we'll celebrate. And both our birthdays are in December. Hers is December the 15th. Mine's December the 15th. 2 different years and stuff. But at the same time, we decided, okay, we'll go down there. I'd never flown before. I hadn't flown since I was a kid on a plane. So my biggest thing was I'm going on a plane for the first time in years, and I don't know if I'm going to want to do this. Panic mode setting in. And well, we went down there, and I was away from everything. They had no internet, so there was no Twitter, no YouTube, none of that stuff. So I was like, okay, I could get used to, I could do this. I can do this. I don't need to, okay. Brought my game machines with me, brought my PS4 with me, and I was sitting there playing games and stuff because I could play games on there without being on the internet and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And I started relaxing more. And I learned that they had a certain bedtime they go to bed at and everything. So everybody would have to go to bed, including me. So I went to bed at that certain point and stuff. And I started getting where at first it was hard to sleep there and stuff. But at the same time, because it wasn't my bed, okay, I'm in a different bed and everything. And it's just like if you go to a hotel, you freaking sleep in that bed for the first time, and you're just like, this ain't my bed. I'm not comfortable. Okay, but it started changing me to the point that I had to get up at a certain time, go to bed at a certain time, and I started becoming used to this. Yeah. And it made me think about my life more. I actually had a good cry there, and my older sister and her family were all there for me, because I finally broke this crap that was going on with me, this toxicity I had in me, the loneliness, the sadness, everything that was in there. And when I did that, I learned I can get myself back together. Yeah. So I did. And when I came back by myself, because my dad was going to stay for a while yet, and so I came back home January of 2022. Yep. I decided I'm coming back to YouTube. I'm going to start freaking getting things going again. So I started going through my figures that, like my He-Man figures, I still knew in the box and everything. Had all my other, my McFarlane figures. I just brought them all down, was going through them, and I says, this is getting reviewed. This is getting reviewed. This is getting reviewed. And I says that we're getting back to what we used to love. No more of this stuff that, and so I made a whole new intro video. And I told people I'm coming back to YouTube after 4 freaking years of being away and stuff. I'm coming back, and I'm going to be doing things differently. No more political talk. I says, if you want that kind of crap, there's the digital door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. And, absolutely. I says, this is what's going to get me back on top. I need to get myself back out there enjoying what I used to do. Because if you went back way back when I started doing my videos and everything, I was enjoying what I was having. I was having fun.
Yeah.
I was making fun of myself for doing something stupid. It was fun times. And those times finally came back to me. And now I'm sitting at 500, over 500 subscribers, gotten amazing friends in the comic book community, the Funko community, the toy community, and so on and so forth. Why? Because I let go of all that crap that was holding me back.
Awesome.
I let go of all the toxicity.
It's about enjoyment, isn't it? You've got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, there's no point doing it. You know what I mean? Because you just.
Well, just like my cooking video I did. My latest cooking video I did, it was being sponsored by feedingamerica.org.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
They wanted to do a sponsorship thing for my video. And I was like, this is my first ever one. Okay. And I was nervous as hell when I first did the intro. And I was about ready to get it edited, started, put it all together and everything. And I was watching it and I was just like, I sound like a freaking broken record. I kept saying, and stuff. And I was like, God damn it. I feel like an idiot. And I says, I can't put that on there. This is a sponsored video for something very serious, very important. And I says, I can't put that out there. So I called my dad, and he's living down in Georgia now. All right. I called him up. I told him what happened with it and stuff. He says, okay, son, breathe. Take a breather. He says, write down everything you really want to say.
Yeah.
And then go back and film it. Go back and do it again. And this time around, it turned out better. Because it was just like I was so messed up on nervousness that, I didn't want to screw this up. This is something important. And I was screwing it up big time. Oh, wow. And so when I went back and filmed it again, after writing everything down, getting my mind set, it turned out perfect.
Awesome.
And so just like in the toy reviews, if I don't feel like it's going to work for me, then I'm not going to do it. If it's not working for me that day, I don't want to do it, because that's what causes toxicity.
Yeah.
You start getting where you hate it again, and you don't want to hate it. You want to love it. You want to enjoy it.
Well, that's what I say. It's what it's about. It's about enjoyment.
Just like I've had people, when it comes to some of my cooking videos, I've had a lot of people say how they love what I did and how I showed them how to do it and everything. And I've had people that come along and says, trash food for poor people.
Oh, well, where are you going to get your haters no matter what?
And that guy, I said that to that person, goodbye, you're gone.
Yeah. Fair dues. Right, okay, well, we've gone past the hours. I've still got 2 questions, Joe. So
let's go.
Let's go with these. What gives you that toy collecting buzz?
Oh, the fact if I'm enjoying it. The fact if I'm enjoying the toy collecting buzz. Okay, like I will. In the case of He-Man figures, like I got done watching Revelation, the one that everyone's hating.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. And I says that I'm glad I got those figures from that, because I liked the series. It was good. I really enjoyed it. But in the case of Revolution, I was surprised by certain things in it and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm getting that figure now. I'm getting that figure. I want that figure now. Like Motherboard. Okay, I passed on her because she's Mattel Creations exclusive. Okay, they still have her. But she's $65 freaking dollars because she's a freaking 12-inch tall figure. And I says, Jesus God, I passed on it for the longest time, but then I watched her in Revolution, and you got live action Evelyn voicing this woman. And I was like, that's it. I'm getting that figure. I am getting that figure. I will do it next chance I get. And I said, the problem is, where will I put her?
Oh, no, that's the issue. Space.
Because she's 12 inches tall. There's no way in heck she's fitting in this cover.
No, absolutely not. What does your collection mean to you? Last question. What does your collection mean to you?
Well, if I have kids one day, then maybe it would mean something to pass down to them one day. You know, start them into the whole, this is what I had when I was a kid, and this is now going to be your stuff. You know, I'll pass this down to you. And you can do whatever you want with it. If you decide you don't want it, do what you want. Sell it off, or give it to your other siblings, you know. And that's the one thing I even said to my mom before she passed and stuff, is that if I ever did have kids, and if I didn't, I said maybe I'll pass it down to one of my other siblings and their kids, you know, and let them go from there. Just like in the case of my Godzilla stuff, I passed down to my adoptive sister Mia. Okay, I had all the old Godzilla comics, a lot of the old Godzilla toys and stuff. But as I started getting into the newer things and like the NECA figures and so on and so forth, okay, I decided I'm going to pass this stuff down to her, because she was a huge Godzilla fan. She still is.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome.
And for her wedding present, I gave her the Shin Godzilla figure. Oh, wow. And it was the NECA version before NECA stopped doing the Godzilla figures.
Yeah.
And I think it's mostly because of a licensing issue, because now Godzilla's in the hands of different licensors now.
Yeah.
And so for her wedding present, I gave her that figure and stuff. She loved it so much that it was the first time she'll take a Godzilla figure from NECA out of the box, and she displayed it in her office, in her home office. Awesome. And she says that sits up there because my big brother gave that to me as a wedding present and stuff. And sometimes during her live streams, people will see it behind her, and they're like, "Whoa, that's so cool looking!" And she's like, "Yeah, that's what my big brother gave me."
Awesome.
And,
Joe, I was going to say, unfortunately, that has come to the end of the chat. Just before we go, where can people find you on social media?
Well, I'm everywhere on I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or X as you call it now.
Yeah.
And pretty much you can find me just about everywhere on there and stuff. Because
what I'll do is I'll put these 4 links or 4 links to your social media platforms in the description below.
Yeah.
I've got to say, mate, first time chatting to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out and being part of this series. I've said to everybody, if it wasn't for people like you, I wouldn't have a series. So I really do appreciate you taking the time out and stuff like that. And it's definitely very interesting chatting to you. So thank you so much, my man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This was fun.
Awesome. Well, that's it.
I love your collection, dude.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
I love your collection. That is neat back there, how you got that all displayed.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah. Cheers.
Because I was watching some of your videos where you were putting all this stuff back together when you reorganized.
Yeah, that's a proper ball ache doing that, I'll tell you. Yeah. No doubt in the summer, come August time when I'm off for 2 weeks, I'll be moving it around again.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll have to have a word with myself if I do, but yeah, it's appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
It's like take a video. Make sure you take a video of it all and go, okay, now this is all where it went when we reorganized. This is where it's all gonna go back.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I've got video footage of this, so I know where stuff goes. But I'm bloody wheels are turning about moving stuff around again. So I'll knock that on the head. Anyhow, look, listen, guys, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate you watching. Thank you for your support. Take care, stay safe, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Later all.